Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. It's the Hood Mystics, representing hoodmystic.com, columbianexchange.com, whiterabbitsite.com. Here to do another video. This video is a rough draft to an article that I'm going to do on my Substack. So instead of, I wanted to flesh out some of the ideas that I took in my notes. So I'm going to do something that I've never done before, which is formulate some ideas and allow me to put together my rough draft that will be available on my Substack. Link is in the description or in my bio, wherever you're watching this video. So turn it down a little bit more. I just need a different vibe to get me going. All right, so let's talk about it. So on my Substack, I have a particular group of writings that I do called Money and Metaphysics. And I started this series when I went to Florida to visit the SAU, and I just seen all of these people at the airport. I seen all of these people in Florida, and I realized that there was a lot of things that I wanted to do in my life that I wasn't able to do because of finances. Now, instead of robbing a bank, instead of buying a kilo of dope and hitting a block, I decided to develop a metaphysical approach to my financial situation. And in the hopes of anything that I do in my spiritual pursuits, I find a way to share it. I find a way to help another person out along my journey. And I advise you to do the same thing. If you have any metaphysical approaches that work for you, it's good to share those things, because you might be beating yourself up. I had an analogy earlier in reference to how you feel about yourself versus what you're able to do, right? And if you truly get into a positive understanding about yourself, it'll be easier for you to spread your light. So it might seem like you don't got nothing to say, but that starts with you, right? And trust me, you don't even got to feel extremely great about yourself to have a voice. You just have to use it, right? And one of the things that I prayed for, right, one of the things that I really wished for was a voice to be heard. So I suggest that to anybody who wants that, pray to God for a voice, pray to be heard, wish for it. With that being said, but even if you don't have a voice, even if you don't want a voice, if you have things that work for you, right, share those with other people. If you have techniques that work for you, share those with other people. We all should have platforms. We all should have YouTube pages. We all should have some form of social media that is helping out the collective, right? If I'm utilizing my platform as a source of spiritual inspiration, you should be doing the same thing. Because I'm only saying that because this ain't even my day job. This ain't even the main thing that I do. It's just a part of my overall understanding of how life works. Each one teach one, right? So with that being said, as I grew financially, as I developed my metaphysical approach to finances, I've been strengthening that within myself, but I've also been sharing every step of the way of my strengthening of my metaphysical approach to money. And so today is no different. I titled this day Successful Sunday. So if you are interested in being successful, wish to be successful, grab a pen and paper, because we're going to look at a metaphysical approach point for point. So I'm going to go through each and every point. It's a few points on here, so this video, it could lead into the longer. So I would say get comfortable. If not, I'm going to upload it on YouTube and you can catch it over there. So let's get into it. the first thing that we want to look at is the ordinary world around us. And we want to look at our ordinary, most basic emotions towards the money that we have in our bank account, in our wallet, in our safe right now. The point of this video, we're going to start here and we are going to end here, right? How do you feel about the money that you have now? We're not talking about specifics of I want to be rich. We're not talking about specifics of I don't have enough money to pay my light bill. We're talking about the metaphysical approach to the money that you have right now. So everybody is included. If you have $0, this is a money talk that you could take part in. If you have $1 million, this is a money talk that you can take part in. Because the person who has $0 feels bad because they have $0. And guess what? The person that have $1 million feels bad because they're afraid that they're going to run out of the $1 million. They are afraid that this $1 million is not enough for them to get a thingy or a majiggy. Okay? So let's talk about it. The ordinary world uses money as a form of survival. What does this mean? If you do not have money, that means you won't eat. And if you do not have money and you don't eat, that means you will die. But we can bear witness to people who don't have money, i.e. your kids, that manage to make it without money. One's in the chat, if your kids don't have no money, but they still manage to eat. One's in the chat, if you got friends and family that's not about to let you starve. So once again, we're taking an irrational thought. And it's people who working at a job right now on this basic premise. If I don't have money, I will not eat and I will die. So I must work at this particular place and do this particular thing or else. So now you're looking at money, you're looking at what you do, not as a sense of joy, not as a sense of freedom, but you're looking at it as if you don't do it, you'll die. So don't ever question where those negative emotions come from. They come specifically from you and specifically for your ego, because the ego is looking at money as its key symbol. And let's not kid ourselves when we talk about when we as spiritual people, because money is more important than spirituality. Let's not kid ourselves. Money is more important than love. Let's not kid ourselves. Money is much more important than family. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's not play with this shit, because y'all be talking about I'm spiritual, I don't really need money, and money is more important than spirituality. Because it ain't nothing worse than not being able to take care of yourself and not being able to provide for yourself and not knowing how to do so. Because we all were little babies. We have a sense of helplessness, defenselessness, and a lack of information. We suffer from ignorance in this aspect of life. We went to school for 12 years. Have you ever took a money course? A specific money course where you went in there on Monday through Friday and you learned 1 to 2 hours every single day for the whole year. It was graded and tested on your knowledge or your literacy in money, like you was tested in United States history or algebra and things of that nature. However, money is the most important thing in reference to your ego, to yourself. Because if you have a sense of awareness and you broke as hell, your ego cannot feel good about you having a sense of awareness. So let's not kid yourself about this. If you are totally zenned out, totally at peace, but you can't figure out how to make it from left to right, you're not going to be at peace with this. So what am I saying? Many evaluate their worth according to what possession or standard of living they enjoy. So everything around you is positioned specifically for your enjoyment. And if it ain't, then you're not going to enjoy it. So let's deal with the first point. The ordinary world treats money as a sense of survival. And since money is your sense of survival, this is your actual standard that you are masquerading as a way of, this is why I enjoy things, because I've worked so hard and I've bought these things and I've got these things. And you will be surrounded by those things and you will be sitting there sad as hell on any level. Rich person, poor person. Why? Because if I'm in a mansion, I have to develop a strong sense of self. If I'm in a cardboard box, I have to develop a strong sense of self. What you've never been taught is how to get a strong sense of self. What you've never been taught is how to get money. We should have been in school from sun up to sundown, figuring out how we was going to get money unequivocally. We shouldn't have been learning about shit else. Because the moment you got grown, it was all about money. When you walk into a bank, they don't discriminate on whether you got A's, B's, C's, D's, or F's on the fucking test. They don't ask you those weird ass questions. And if you have a job, what does that actually mean? So I'll talk about this later. I'll talk about it later. We're going to go point for point. So if you got to really think about this, you need money to have the things that quote unquote you enjoy, but yet you buy things and let other people know that you bought those things. So people who have the things that you desire are somewhat more important to you. If you have the things, you somewhat more important than other people. And it's all about the ego's functioning. It's all about surviving. Because if you have money, that means you can survive. And let's think about this. We got to really start to think about this. We're talking about our emotional life. Because if your mama say go to hell, it might hurt your feelings for a little bit. It's not going to hurt as bad if that direct deposit don't hit on fucking Friday. Whatever you doing. You don't even got to have a job. You could be getting a fucking unemployment check. And say your unemployment check don't come on Friday. What you are going to experience is an emotion called fear and anxiety, and it's going to be a hormone secretion. Nothing worse than that. In reference to the ego. The ego is obsessed emotionally with finances and abundance. But if you got money right now, if you manifested money right now, then that is a particular emotion that you can have versus the emotion that you're not going to have. You're not going to be grateful for what you have. You will have to listen to this whole video and understand point for point why you're not grateful for what you have already. Because your brain is more dominant for you to look at what you have and be afraid and say it's not enough. I need more. I need to figure out how I'm going to get more money. When you have money already. Even if you don't have any money, the logic is that you can't get broker than zero. You're going to get up. And then our ideas, even as being an electric charge, because one thing will say, I want money. But it's a whole nother energy vibration to say money wants me. You don't actually believe that. And that is what the problem is. You actually are charging your energy to chase something that is not even running from you. Money is a green piece of paper. Money is a number in your bank account. And if you had $10 million in your bank account, the fucking trees is going to grow the same. Nobody's going to give a fuck. The emotions. Once again, close your eyes right now and imagine fucking a sad situation. Think about a sad situation. Now think about a happy situation. You see how easy your mind can create a happy situation and a sad situation? Because your mind is not in reality. Your mind is in the reality that you program it to have. Imagine something sour. Imagine something sweet. Your emotions are flexible. When we have emotions towards money, it cuts us off from bringing money into our life. Because when you out in nature and you are charging your energy with negative ions, this is scientific. You have negative electrons, which represent the body. And then you have a larger electron field that represents your electromagnetic body. And when you go out into nature or just go outside, your electron body is picking up those negative electron ions and making you become more magnetic to particular experiences. When you look out into the world and you see a negative experience, and then you bring that negative experience into your mind, because you are the abstract entity known as God, you don't know that you took that negative experience and made it infinite. This is your choice as God. You can find something beautiful. You can find something amazing. You can find something great. Or you can tune into yourself. Find the music of the universe within yourself. And that is infinite as well. If you was to ask anybody how you feel about the money that you got right now, they're going to say, I feel negative. So what's the job? The job is to feel positive about the money that you have. Because the money that you have, if felt negative about it, you're already insecure. And if you feel like you don't have enough, if you look at your money and say, this is not enough money because you represent the infinite, that negativity is now infinite. So this is why spiritual beings have to fight for a positive experience. This is why spiritual beings say fuck you. Even when we're not even supposed to say fuck you. Because if a spiritual being have to contend with negativity, it's going to multiply that negativity. This is why when spiritual beings get into positive situations, those positive situations will multiply. But we don't, as spiritual beings, don't understand the fight and don't understand the direction or aim for our particular energy. So if you ask a person how you feel, ask your mom, ask your dad, ask the person that you love right now. How do you feel about the money that you have right now? You will understand what I'm talking about. If you feel you don't have enough, if you feel you are in lack, the problem is your inner world is infinite. You could choose any reality and perpetuate it. Any positivity and perpetuate it. Any love, any life. Look at the different organisms, the complexity of all of the plants, all of the animals, all of the trees. Every single organism operates off of DNA. Everything you see is basically the same thing. The ego, which lives to separate, says, "No, but I'm afraid, I'm a lack, I don't have enough." The soul of you is connected to the basic structure of the universe that only wants to reproduce, only wants to multiply. So where do you, when you have a financial issue, where do you find it at? Do you find it at working more? Or do you find it at your emotional feelings towards the money that you have? Because a cell, let's talk about a cell. Because if you can understand the workings of a cell and its membrane and its organelle, you'll understand how to be receptive to finances, to be receptive to positive experiences. Because everything on us, as far as our skin, organs, blood vessels, nerves, are made up of cells. So a cell has a particular membrane that allows particular energy in, keeps certain energies in, but also block unwanted energies. And understand that the cell did not take a class or a course or go to college to be wise. It intuitively is wise. So when we talk about spiritual things, there's nothing that we need to learn. We just don't need to fuck it up. By what? Our ego and our feelings of being separate and special. One's in the chat if you are following me. We're going point for point on the metaphysical approach to money. If you have $0, this video will help you. If you have $1 million, this video will help you, because we are not talking about the specific amount that you have. We're talking about the specific feeling that is going to magnify and perpetuate itself, because we are an infinite being. You know you are an infinite being because you are fucking depressed and dark and sad at an infinite level. You ever get to a point where you're so dark and you feel like you're not going to be able to pull yourself out? There's no chance in hell. You are in the most darkest, deepest hole that you ever been in, and ain't nothing that's going to pull you out. You turn around, get some good head. You feeling like you the fucking king of the fucking universe. You like, man, remember I was so depressed 2 hours ago. I don't know what happened. Because the moment that you choose your particular vibratory frequency, this is your reception. Now, you got to walk with me. Imagine a radio transmitter, right? And it's 93.1, 94.5, 107.5, right? And it's certain frequencies that you turn on, you don't get nothing but static. Does that mean that the radio don't work? Now let me bring the analogy back to you, because sometimes y'all be thinking I'll be all the way over here, but let me bring it back to you. Sometimes your money don't be together. Sometimes your money don't be right. Does that mean you never gonna get money again? All you need to do, if it's on 107.7, maybe you just need to turn it to 107.5 and then boom, it's crystal clear. Magic. Because in your vehicle, your radio is a receiver to specific frequencies. And it only works when you align it to that specific frequency. And as long as you keep it on that frequency, you can always magnetize whatever is coming through. However, if you want to understand, back to us, what will disrupt our ability to be tuned in and tapped in, it's called friends and family. It's called friends and family. Because let's not be kidding about this. At a metaphysical level, I know some people's money is more important than your friends and family. Money is more important than God. Because none of the, you go to church, they not giving you shit. You hang out with your friends and family, they not giving you shit. And when it's time for you to figure out your financial life, niggas gonna look at you like you should have figured that shit out yourself. One's in the chat. Niggas look at you as you supposed to be responsible for your financial life. So one would say, well, damn, I need to go get a job. And that is the physical aspect of needing money. But today we're talking about the metaphysical aspect. Meta meaning transcending the physical aspect of finances. Because yes, you physically ran up a bag, but your emotions towards the money that you have created, you are still the same motherfucker. You just got a little bit more trinkets and a little bit more amulets to go with your physical dependency. However, when you establish a metaphysical approach, a feeling approach, a magnetic approach, I told y'all when I started these conversations, I had about 9 paying subscribers. I did 10 of these articles in a row. It went from 10 to 60 in about a month. And it's consistently growing. And I'm not basing anything off of my Substack subscribers. All I'm saying, from one level to a second level to a third level to a fourth level, when you develop a metaphysical approach to the money that you have, it works and it helps. What is a metaphysical approach, you might ask? You might add. Some would call it spiritual, but it goes beyond that. It is sitting with yourself, feeling good with just you, and then acting on behalf of your higher self, doing the things that your higher self came down here to do. And if you do that enough, you will start to see money coming in from different sources. Stay there for a little fall, and it's a part of their nature. They just going to be on this roller coaster ride. Well, the reason that they can go from the bottom to the top the way that they do, and the reason why you stay on the straight and narrow path, is because of emotional feeling towards money. A person that knows that they can manifest a lot of money is not going to be holding on to $10,000. They're going to invest that shit, get rid. They'll go from $10,000 to $0, be investing it for 6 months, be broke. And you looking at them shaking your head, getting your direct deposits every 2 weeks like, man, you had $10,000 6 months ago. Look at you now. You ain't getting paper. And then that 10,000 that they invested 6 months ago flip into 100K, You like, oh shit. And then they take the 100K, watch this, and flip that. And then they broke again. You looking like, damn, they on a roller coaster. But you don't understand finances or literacy. You only know if I don't work, I don't eat, and I'ma die. So I'ma work. Not gonna invest. I'm not gonna learn because I don't have time to learn. You work 8 hours and you drive to work 2 hours. You gotta cook, deal with the kids, can't learn new skills. So you basically trapped. Rent. If you don't have a roommate, you are rent poor. You are rent poor. And then you got a car that's $725, not counting insurance. Everything is subscription based. So the things that we used to pay a set amount for is now an extraneous amount of money that we'll be paying our whole lifetime for, such as music. We used to pay $17 for a CD, and we could listen to that CD. And if we didn't have the CD, we couldn't listen to the shit. But now we feel like we getting all the music in the world, but now we got to pay Spotify or Apple Music $10 a month for the rest of our fucking lives to enjoy music. Add it up. And that's just one service. And many shows and channels we want, we got to pay subscription. So money, what is that? What is that? All of this shit that you spending money for, you don't even fucking need. This is a metaphysical approach to money, because how you gonna get a handle on some shit when you just need to spend all this money on all of the shit that you need, when I'm talking about sitting with yourself and feeling good? How much that costs? How much do it cost to go to a state park? How much do it cost to get into your sketchbook and learn how to draw faces better? Learn how to draw humans better. Learn how to draw animals better. Get better on your shadows. Get better at your sketching. Get better at your rough drafts. Right? Taking time, spending time to get better don't cost shit. That's the most productive thing that you can do with your time and energy. Isn't that ironic? No, we got to go out to the function, to the day party, and spend about $300 on Hennessy and chicken wings and things of that nature. But I really need some money. To do what? Go to another day party. They having another one next month. Got to get my money together and go to these day parties. Now let's deal with this. Until you get cool with who you are, all of the money in the world is not going to free you, because you always going to use money to help you better yourself in the external world. But money is not going to create an internal situation of betterness. It happens all the time. You want money real bad. You waiting for the direct deposit real bad. You thinking about all of the things you need to do with this direct deposit. Soon as you get the money, you either spend it or it don't feel like you thought it was going to feel when you got it. Because money is not going to free you from your negative space. Only you going to free you. And to get in tune with yourself now is probably too late, because you already got a 36-month lease. You already got another lease for the car. You already got all of these particular things that people identify you. This is your identity. So if you lose your car, it's like you losing yourself. And you lease the car, don't have no equity in it. You could have been paying the car for 2 years, $700 a month. They take it away from you. You ain't got shit. So you gotta keep this shit going. All that I can offer you in that scenario is feel good about the motherfucker that has been able to scrounge up, scruffle up, scrape up $725 a month plus insurance for his past 24 years. You must have been God. You a whole live spiritual being if you got a car note. Nothing more powerful than a nigga paying their car note on time in 2023. That's a whole nother level of divinity. This is a metaphysical approach to money, because the real emotional, real world scenario is that life is kicking your ass and you can't look left or right and up or down. Because as much as inflation has been taking place on the things that you buy, your pay has not been increasing at that same rate. So at this particular time, all the plotting and scheming is going to run into a head. So I would say, if it was me, I would create a budget and what it would look like if I didn't have a vehicle. What would I have to, how would I have to live? If I didn't have this $2,000 a month apartment that I've been paying for the past year, how would I live if my apartment was $1,000? Yes, with my kids. Yes, a one-room apartment with 3 kids sounds crazy. But if you don't give a fuck about how people feel about you and you care about your finance, listen, the amount of money that you have is more important of how people view you. If people view you as an ancient person and you got $6 million in the bank, or you saved $10,000 this month, they can feel this way. If people view you as a great person, but you got $200 in your bank account, you don't know how your kids is going to eat for the rest of the month. It's not even towards the end of the month yet, or maybe it is. Yeah, maybe it is. You like, phew, I got 7 days to the front, to the first. You have to downgrade and begin to feel better about the downgrade. Because if you keep going for the top, you killing yourself. And then we want to have positive emotions. I personally don't see how you going to be split in two and then say, all right, let me do some meditating. As my left side of my body is over here, my right side of my body is over here. I'm totally crissed off like crisscross, and I'm just fucked up out here. But let me try to go meditate in my sacred space. Let me pull myself together. Hey, Hood, can you smoke a cigarette and meditate at the same time? I was just wondering, is that a fucked up protocol? Shit, I just been chain smoking and you said you gotta meditate for 45 minutes, and I figured if I just lit a square in between, it wouldn't hurt. Listen, it's not about having a lot of money. It's not about having a lot of money. Especially if you don't got a lot of money. You're going to have to figure out how to get a lot of money. Because even if you was to get a lot of money tomorrow, how you begin to feel about that money that you got is going to rear its ugly head. And let's double back to where we at right now. Wherever you at right now financially, you have brought yourself into this particular situation. So the same person that have brought you to where you at is going to bring your ass back to this motherfucker sooner or later. So you don't have to worry about the money because the money is already there. You got to worry about you becoming a negative attracted towards that shit because niggas have been rich your whole life. And you could be rich and sad. But if you poor, you sad. When you rich, you got an opportunity to possibly start a business and help a couple people or take a trip somewhere or do some shit to really get into a space of truth. Don't kid yourself clocking in and clocking out, acting like you happy because you watched a bitch's YouTube video. And your life ain't got no better. Your life ain't changed. Now, being rich is an ego hit. Being rich, it fuels the ego. But not like being poor. Poor is the most egoic thing that a person can do. You are fully in your ego if your money ain't together. Because all we're talking about is being in a negative charge, attracting money. You could always be in this charge. You could only fuck it up. You've had situations, Spirit, one's in the chat. Spirit have put you in situations before. Spirit have put people in your life before. Spirit have gave you opportunities. Spirit have gave you ideas. Spirit have put you in the right places. Spirit have gave you the right time, proper energy. And what you do? Fuck it up. Why? Every time. Why? Because you wasn't in tune with yourself. You couldn't just stay in a relationship, be in tune with yourself, and ride it out. Because if you don't have that skill, the same person that brought you to this place right now, sooner or later, you'll swing over here, your ass will swing right back to the place that you always been at. So the true change is not in getting money. The true change is in me being the type of person that money want to hang out with, chill with, smoke a blunt with. But it's all about learning. And learning is teaching. If you can learn and teach, you can make money. And it's all about being disconnected from the soul. Learning, teaching, connecting the self. And also understand, this was me before going to Florida. I didn't feel like I needed money. Therefore, I didn't feel like I needed a metaphysical approach to money. I felt like I was above money. I felt that I was going to somehow make my life worth living without money or just having enough to survive. And once I went to Florida, I realized having enough to survive is not enough fucking money. But I felt like I was in a good position because I understood that in order to increase my financial life, I was going to have to depend on my soul. And I've depended on my soul. I can understand these things. But I'm now bridging the gap from tuning into self and living a financially free life. Another thing, in relationships, friends, family, wife, husband, it's not a group thing a lot of times. When you tune in and tap into yourself, it's going to cause a wedge in your relationships. You got to be strong enough to follow your soul because money is more important than a relationship. Or go ahead and just be in a relationship and not follow your soul and tell me how you feel about it. You going to be in the same situation with the same person. That shit going to drive you crazy. You need to experience new things, new challenges, new ups, new downs, new horizons. Doing the same thing with the same person is not how this shit actually works from a spiritual level. Because there's certain things about relationships that when they're good, but when they're bad, they're bad. So 10 times out of 10, you have a bad relationship where the husband and wife or the husband or wife wants to control the other person. And if you acquiesce to that control, then the reality of your finances is also adhered to however your wife or husband controls that particular area of your life. When it comes to your finances, it's why it's important for people, in order to have a successful relationship, you need to have a successful relationship with self. Because a successful relationship with self is being able to follow the promptings of self before you follow the promptings of a stranger that you met one day, that you liked for a point in time in your life, that then somehow gave you some good dick or some alright pussy, and now that person is in control of your life because they your soulmate or they your husband or they your wife. All of these terms is made up. All of these particular ideas will disrupt and distract your understanding of your soul. Does this mean you need to be alone for your life? No. This means to say, until you develop the strength of understanding that nobody is going to block my path, I'm going to just have to separate from this person. Now, if you can still be in a relationship, and this person have to understand that if your soul give you the promptings to do what you need to do, you need to then support that thing. So it could be a soul-based relationship, but niggas is not in them type of relationships. Niggas is in ego-based, personality-driven relationships, and they hate change. You could be in a toxic relationship right now. Both of y'all know it's toxic and y'all won't end it because the ego hates change. A spiritual relationship, you will realize we good when we together, but when we separated, we separated. A lot of relationships is codependent, meaning that that person depend on you. That's an unhealthy, toxic relationship. A person need to depend on their soul. A person should be able to provide you positive experience in your relationship. If they cannot provide positive relationships, it's because they haven't sat with themselves long enough to find the positive jewels and gems within them. So they only look at you as a fucking supply for positive experiences. And you could be a goofball. You could be a very ignorant person and fall into that trap. The mind wants everything steady and constantly the same, but as you develop a spiritual nature about yourself, you realize that life don't work like that. And say, for instance, your mind want everything steady and the same, but at a deeper level, you know you want to make money. You want to make more money. If you want to make more money, that means you want a deeper change for you. You want things to change for you. And if you want things to change for you, you need to get out of your mind. Because your mind wants to keep everything the same, everything steady. And you say, well, damn, I need some extra money. The key is right there. You need to change something about your situation, your circumstance. Downgrade, minimize, cut shit off. No more Netflix, no more this, no more that. Break shit down to the bare minimum. You will have a bunch of money like that. You'll have instant money if you just downgrade and minimize yourself. What would that lead? That will lead you to sit with your motherfucking self more. This is what you need more of. When you get lesser things, you become more attractive to more and bigger things. The reason why you can't attract shit that you got now, because all of the shit you got, you holding on to, and you've already magnetized that shit. So if I'm a magnet and I magnetize something, I can't magnetize something on top of the shit that I already magnetized. If I want to magnetize new experience, I clear my fucking magnet off, and now I'm primed and ready to magnetize better things. This is change. This is open-mindedness. This is letting shit go, letting people go. Listen, if you don't want to be happy, see you later. Don't ever let a motherfucker tell you that you are their reason for their unhappiness. And if that's what they truly feel, be the person that remove yourself, and they be asking you like, why you leave? Why you go? Because I wanted you to be happy. Obviously. I wanted you to have the time of your fucking life. If I'm the source of your unhappiness, I'll remove myself and you'll be happy. If they don't see that you're not the source of their unhappiness by that point, then ain't nothing you can do. When we talk about change in our lives, this is a weed grinder, right? Spiritual people be like, I want to open up this weed grinder, so I'm going to do a ritual, right? I'm going to do a spell. Fuck that, I'm going to do an incantation. I'm going to get a reading about it. I'm going to pray on it. I'm going to do some offerings at the river, and then maybe one day it'll open, right? All of these things may or may not open this damn specific weed grinder. But a metaphysical approach, if we wanted to change our lives, we would just add pressure. So I take my hand, add a little pressure, and I open it up. Everything you want in your life come from applying a little pressure. You want that girl to like you, she not just going to knock on your door. Just apply a little pressure. Pussy will open up like this grinder. Like, ooh, here you go, daddy. Apply a little pressure. But this is a question. What do you consider freedom? Is freedom a feeling or a circumstance? Since circumstances always change, and the inner reality of the soul never changes, and also we're talking about meditation. We're talking about finding yourself as a feeling, not as an intellectual pursuit. You never have to learn how to feel. Intuitively, that feeling is within you, so I could never bring about a spiritual actualization or a spiritual realization for you, because a spiritual actualization isn't in the amount of information that you know and are able to apply or able to regurgitate. To have spiritual knowledge is to know oneself at an intimate, realistical level. And no one can teach you this. You have to spend your time, energy, and effort in getting okay with your damn self. Not being so prone to find things outside of yourself to feel good about. And the more you spend, today I got a lot of shit to do that don't require me to spend money. In the space of a day that I'm going to probably make some money. So that is a win. If I ain't doing shit and I'm making money, I'm more prone to spend the money, and that's a loss. And I'm the cause of my financial win or lose. It ain't the universe, it's me. What am I going to do with the money that I get based upon how I feel about my money? This money might be a seed to an investment. So I'm not going to be very apt to spend it on something based upon how people feel about me. I know that I can invest this money and it can grow into something more, and I can invest the money that I got and it can just keep growing. And I've created my own particular system. That's what's freedom to me. That I can live in my own autonomous structure and figure it out. So I'm always thinking about this, about the money that I have. And it breaks down into two simple concepts. If you need money, money is a symbol of struggle. If you have money, money is a symbol of freedom. Because no amount of money can make you comfortable with sitting and standing with yourself. And what's even worse is when you actually get addicted to getting money, you become less and less out of touch with yourself. You begin to say, ooh, this soap smell good. Since I got money, I can afford this soap. Ooh, this car feel nice. Since I got money, I can afford this car. Ooh, this is nice. Since I got money, I can do this. Since I got money, I can do that. And nothing wrong with it. You just going further and further and further and further and further and further away from who you really are. Because who you really are is amazing. Amazing. But you never get in tune with it because you think you need some trinket or some amulet or some status symbol to validate who you are. Or even worse, you need to learn it from some fake ass, whack ass spiritual son of a bitch online to teach you about you. I can't teach you about you. You know you. It's hard to see yourself, to feel yourself, and to share that positive energy. But it ain't impossible. You don't get no escape out of it. And let's understand, you might be in a position. You got a $5,000 house note. I'm exaggerating, but do the math. You pay another $2,000 for utilities, your car note, and insurance is another $1,400, right? Your upkeep, your clothes, you gotta buy clothes. You're on Amazon all the time. You got 1,000,001 subscriptions. You got all of this shit going on. Then you want to get on Al Gore's internet, Beyonce's internet, talking about, I need to figure out my money. I need to figure out, I can't do nothing. I need some money. It's bad out here. It's struggling. I posted a video on my IG a couple days ago. Woman said, I'm making $80,000 and I can't afford nothing. I guarantee you, if you minimize your expenses, you will solve your problems like that. You're spending too much money on too much bullshit, and it's okay because you don't need the bullshit. Because if you at a point where you making money and you still can't figure it out, you don't need more money. More money is only going to confuse you more. If you making 5 figures, $4,000 to $5,000 a month, every month for the past 10 years, and you feel like I'm living check to check, it's the fucking economy. No, it ain't. It's you. You don't know how to manage shit. You don't know shit about investing. Because if you've been making a substantial amount of money for years, you should have been investing a little here, little there. Why? Because it's going to come a point in time where you ain't going to be able to do shit. And your ability to understand your money now is going to mean everything when you get 65 and older. You need to have passive income and create passive income, and it starts now. Holler at me. I'll point you in the right direction. If you got financial goals and you hope, if you have financial goals and you hope to have a level of spiritual wellness, let me be the first to say, your house is not going to let you reach your financial goals, especially if you renting. If you renting, a large percentage of the money that you work for goes towards your rent. How are you going to reach your financial goals? That money is not going to change. That money is, as soon as you make it, it's gone. It ain't coming back to you. If you spending $725 a month on a car note plus insurance, you probably not going to exhaust that lease to term or exhaust that loan to term. You probably at some point going to get the car repoed. All I'm going to say, if you can't afford $1,400 a month just to throw away, go to a buy here and pay here, or buy a car what you can afford. If you got $2,000 down, no, you get a $2,000 car. If you got $10,000 down, no, you got a $10,000 car. That's your car. Drive it till you can't drive it no more, because that's how much cars are worth. Cars depreciate in value over time, meaning as soon as you drive it off the lot, it loses value. So for you to invest in a car is like for you to invest in a piece of shit and say, maybe one day this piece of shit will grow into a financial investment, but everybody around you will say, nah, that ain't right. But you wouldn't know the fucking difference because your ego says, boy, I look good in this motherfucker, don't I? You see me in that motherfucking car I couldn't afford. I look good in that motherfucker, though. I look good in it. So, think about you and the money that you have and the emotions surrounding it. Do this example, do this exercise, because the mind can't tell the difference. Right now, you thinking, if I don't work, I don't eat. If I don't eat, I'm going to starve. Start to think, how can I not be wealthy? Like, how is it, like, it's impossible for me not to be wealthy. Like, it's like breathing air. How can I not breathe air? I would literally have to go like this for me to stop breathing. And even when I go like this, I can still finish to breathe. That money want to come to me like air. I can just breathe money in like air. And these are emotions, because at first you're going to feel like a crazy motherfucker. You're going to feel silly. There's no difference between a poor person and a wealthy person. Only difference is a wealthy person feels wealthy. A poor person feels poor. How do you feel towards the money that you have? And these are real emotions, not fake emotions. Because the mind knows when you bullshitting versus when it's real. But as I stated earlier, if you can close your eyes and go deep within yourself, you are in a land of infinite. And this is the inner mind. And this is why the attack is so vicious on your mind. Because for the most part, many people feel darkness and sadness and regret and negativity when they sit within themselves, so they need to be distracted. If you can learn to exist as the infinite inner being and replicate this feeling and just be in this feeling, everything tends to work out. You got to really close your eyes until you begin to look at the world that you want to live in. But until you live in the world that you want to live in, reflect on that world within you. It'll eventually sync up. However, if you continue to look externally and feel not good, or feel like it's not enough, or feel like you need more, or such and such really did me wrong, and I can't stand such and such, and my baby daddy ain't shit, and my baby mama ain't shit, you feel that. This is why you be sitting in the car like this on your lunch break. What's wrong, Charmaine? You want to talk about it? No, not right now. I don't want to talk about it. Well, your 15 minutes been up for 5 minutes, so you just want me to just clock you out, or are you going to come back in? Or all right, I'll be in a second. Here I come. Why are you letting this boy make you so sad? Because I am an infinite being, and anything that I reflect on, I just magnify it and magnetize it. Why you focus all your energy on this boy? Because I wasn't taught to put the energy onto myself. I was literally taught that I can't be happy until I find a man. And so I've been trying to find my happiness in these men my whole life, and it ain't been working. And all of the women that I know been trying to do the same thing, and it ain't been working for them either. But we don't have no real solution, so we just do a whole bunch of random shit to see if it works. But it don't work. Well, why don't you just reflect on yourself then? That's a good idea. I'll start doing that from now on. There is no lack in society. There is no lack in your government. There is no lack in the economy. The only lack there is, it lacks within you. You are apathetic. You are disconnected from your pathology. There is a path for all of us to become wealthy. All we have to do is follow it. Listen, I can breathe in the air all I want to, but if I try to stop the air, eventually I'll stop the air. I'll obstruct the flow. Because I'm doing all of this, that don't mean nothing wrong with the fucking air. That's just my dumb ass, because I'm a spiritual being and I can do anything. And somehow somebody have taught us to invert our energy to begin to do things that is going to block our light. Listen, maybe not for you, but in the mass consciousness of people, money holds a stronger emotional resonance than God. Niggas have left church, but they did not leave their job. Money has a stronger emotional resonance than the soul. Niggas will leave the spiritual community and be working at a job. What you been doing for the past such and such years? Oh man, just working. You would just be at work, just working your life away. Why? Because money have a stronger emotional resonance than even connecting to your soul. In the mass of consciousness, money have a stronger resonance than love. Maybe not for you, but in everybody else, money more important than a hug and a kiss. I bet you had a money exchange recently, but I bet you didn't have a hug exchange recently. In this world, money have a stronger, and if you don't get on top of this emotional resonance, if you don't tune into this frequency, you're not going to get none of it. It's not going to just knock on your door and show up. Because everybody is operating on a frequency. And where you think it's about love and light and friends and family, they probably taxing your ass for being ignorant. Inside this mass consciousness and this world, your kids is going to value money over you at some point in life. Just think about that. The emotion surrounding money and survival will dominate and infect and poison everybody around you. And as a spiritual being, when you get some type of motion and flow in your life, you will not fit in with your friends and family. Because your friends and family utilize money as a form of survival. You, on the other hand, are learning a metaphysical approach to utilize money as a form of freedom. Because it's very important. It's very important to hijack this particular residence in your life. It was one of the first things that I hijacked in my life. Like, one of the first things to be the charge of finances that I needed in my life at a spiritual level is necessary. Because everything you see is not a reality. Everything you see is not a reality. However, when you look at money and the money that you have as real and associate real emotions towards money that's not really real, you're doing yourself a disservice. What I'm asking you to do is make the choice. What I'm asking you to do is make the choice to be wealthy, to be abundant, to be in the flow, to be in the now, to be rich as ever, to never imagine yourself to be poor, to be broke, to be impoverished, because you cannot be. You are an infinite being. You have just been taught to take negative stimuli and negative emotions and magnetize it and magnify it. You have tried to live off of a distorted frequency. Don't figure it out. Don't become apathetic. Become pathetic. Meaning, be one that is following your path. So I was looking up pathetic, the etymology. And I think like you might hear pathetic and think like it's a bad word. But when I look up the etymology of pathetic, it says affecting the emotions or affections, moving and stirring, right? And this to me, like looking at the etymology of the word, which like it doesn't, like people don't get that word anymore, but it makes sense to me. To be pathetic, it means to be moving in alignment with the emotions. And just think about that. If you are pathetic, you are moving along your emotional path of positive feelings, and there is no education in that, because what feels good to you is what you need to focus on. You need to master that. You need to wrap your head around it. And if you think it feel good and it's not feel good, and if it don't feel good rather, then that's something that you needed to learn. But follow your path towards positive emotions, but not eating shit, right? I mean, maybe, but not emotionally eating, but getting into, it says affecting the emotions, right? Getting behind the emotion, manipulating the emotion to be what you want it to be, and moving in that energy. So you can't say as a spiritual being, I feel like shit. Because as a spiritual being, you're not apathetic. See, apathetic means you, or having apathy means you are separated from your path. But when you are pathetic, you are one with your path, meaning that, like, you're pathetic. But it's not a bad thing. It means that you're affecting your emotions, and you're moving, and you're in alignment with that path. A beautiful, beautiful way to end this, as I'm keeping it consistent, keeping it current. This was my successful Saturdays, as we just try to bring people into alignment with their souls in alignment with their finances. It's a complicated message, but yes, it's a simple message, but a message nonetheless. Check out the Substack. I'm gonna write this all out in a nice little article, and just continue on. Got more things to discuss, more developments, because this thing is like never over. We never reach the top, but we just keep learning and keep growing and keep progressing. And I wish the same for me, and I wish the same for you, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.